creature did seem to be trying to get into the house. At one point I read that the screens were pushed in. So yeah, definitely a little bit intrusive if you ask me for a 10-foot tall hairy man. But yeah, this is a real deal, guys. So this is more of the definitely longer haired version of one of these fellows here. These forest folk, Sasquatch, whatever you want to call them. This guy is very hairy, very long haired. It almost appears, you can see the brow ridge, but it appears that it's almost, a lot of it's covering his face. Man, this guy looks like he has a shoulder, like very broad, very, very heavy duty shoulders, very wide. So he's standing sideways, and apparently he's about 10 feet tall. So yeah, you can't really get the gist of how wide he is, but yeah, look at that hair. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know what this photo is really showing. This one, to me, I can't really make anything out, unless that's a creature back there through the brush. What is that? Hemlock? Or, yeah, anyway. Definitely a massive creature. Long hair. Very interesting. Okay, this is the Temagami Bigfoot encounter at a cabin in Lady Evelyn Smoothwater Park. So, encounter with photos. So yeah, this creature, the Sasquatch, stood still for approximately around 5 minutes while the man was able to delete some of his photos and take some pictures for us to enjoy. So, without further ado, let's get into the actual account. Witnesses, Mr. and Mrs. D. Hiebert. Date, April 15th, 2009. Time, 2:39 p.m. At approximately 2:39 in the afternoon, Mrs. Hiebert was opening the blinds in the back bedroom of the cabin and noticed a very large, hairy, upright creature on the top of the hill about 50 to 70 yards away. She informed Mr. Hiebert, who grabbed the digital camera and went outside to take a picture of it. While walking around the back corner of the cabin, powering up his camera, an 8-megapixel Canon EOS Digital Rebel XT 300mm lens, out of the corner of his eye, he noticed it had seen him and froze. He had to delete several pictures from his SD card in order to be able to take any pictures. Mr. Hiebert managed to take 2 pictures, and while looking down at the camera, it disappeared, only to reappear 15 minutes later at the woodpile. It was peeking at him from the tree lying beside the path. It was approximately 10 plus feet tall and very massive. The creature roughly estimated to be twice the size of the witness. 3 pictures were taken in all. The pictures were taken from the back of the cottage looking up the hill from the top of the propane tank cabinet. So yeah, it goes on, interesting. Quote, "This thing stood perfectly still for what seemed like 5 minutes. I turned my head for a split second, and it was gone. In the following weeks, the screens were pushed in or torn off some windows of the cabin. The encounter was reported to the MNR and OPP in New Leisgard on April 28, 2009. 3 digitally transferred pictures were left with the officer, as well as 1-page written report on the incident and the witness's phone number. The officer they spoke with found it hard to believe they were reporting it and asked, 'Are you serious about this?' and laughed. A game warden and several MNR biologists, names withheld, attended the cabin and stayed several days, investigating and taking pictures of the area. They stayed on after the witness left. In 2010, witness sells cabin. Witness's wife was no longer comfortable and afraid to go there. They believe the cabin has been since torn down." So previously in the summer 2004, they were awoken at 2 a.m. by what seemed like really deep penetrating ground thuds, and picking up a huge boulder and pounding it on the ground. It shook the entire landscape. It went on for about 20 minutes and was very random, maybe 10 or 15 hits to the ground. It was very singular and deep, like a seismic thumper truck, The last hit to the ground was followed by the sound of big trees cracking about 150 yards out. The witness made coffee and stayed up till dawn that night. Then in 2006, after lending a local friend and 3 others the cabin for hunting season, they reported 2 black or dark blue helicopters flying low and circling for several days and nights in the area. It was definitely not game people doing rabies cube drops. This would have been fall 2006. It is assumed they were looking for someone or something, and that was also the first year in many that no one received a moose tag to his knowledge. In 2007, there were 3 large boulders put on the road at the bottom of the hill as you come into the top of the lake. It looked like they were rolled down the hill and placed there. 2 of them came up to the door of the truck. One was the height of the bumper, and one of them was still there in 2010 because people began to just drive around it. Ontario Wildlife Field Research, Ontario Bigfoot, has many ongoing investigations in the Temagami area. Temagami is a very rich area for reports and incidents with this unknown creature, as well as many historic reports from other investigative groups and the local media. In our opinion, these witnesses, Mr. and Mrs. Hybert, are very honest and forthcoming with answers to our many questions. We appreciate the valuable information and knowledge that we have gained by hearing their story. So what stands out to me is these guys are obviously being honest. So these pictures are more than likely real. This is more than likely a real creature. The witnesses weren't trying to make money off of it, from what I can tell. And they posted it on here for free. They handed the pictures for free, as far as I know. Very interesting.
So one thing I will add is something that I can compare the picture of this Sasquatch to, of another proclaimed Sasquatch. And what's important here is the repetitivity. The repetitivity in similarities of reported Sasquatch photos or beings taken photos of. So if we can repeat something, that's a pattern, that is a scientific procedure that will give credibility to and raise the bar a little bit on its validity. So look at these 2 side by side. The one on the left is apparently a female, and the hair drapes similarly to the one on the right, which is what we've been talking about this whole video, the one from Ontario. So look at the similarities and just judge for yourself.